Hi, I'm Miscellaneous Stories, and this is the first episode of IT. Welcome to Derry. In a small quiet town, a little boy disappears without a trace. Soon people start hearing voices coming from the sewers and seeing monsters that shouldn't exist. The series, based on the film, which in turn is based on the book, begins in early 1962 in the bowels of a movie theater. A musical is playing, and various audience members are watching. Among them is a boy named Manti. Despite his age, he never leaves his pacifier. The sound of smacking his lips irritates his neighbors. A theater employee appears in the audience with a flashlight. He asks Manti to leave. He's too young to watch such risque films. The boy escapes from the usher and hides in the foyer behind cardboard cutouts. He is seen by Veronica, the daughter of Hank the mechanic. But instead of turning the usher in, she directs the man in the wrong direction. Thinking the danger has passed, Manti emerges from hiding and narrowly avoids capture. Afterward, the boy wanders along the night roads beneath the railway overpasses, out of town, hitchhiking as he goes. After passing Stella's entrance, he's picked up by a respectable family in a car, a mother, father, and 2 children. The boy admits he doesn't care where they go, as long as it's as far away from his hometown of Derry. Meanwhile, the eldest daughter takes a container of liver from her bag. Dipping her fingers in the liver, she sniffs the blood, then holds them out to Manti's face so he can partake. When the boy turns away, the girl explodes into a scream at her brother. Her mother suddenly increases her cruelty and begins spewing obscenities. In response, the entire family bursts into unnatural laughter. At that moment, Manti sees ahead of Stella the Derry she just left, the best place in the world to get rid of a child. So, they're heading back. The boy asks the driver to stop, but the family completely ignores him, preoccupied with their own thoughts. The father even turns up the radio, just to block out the hitchhiker. Manti tries to open the door to jump out while the car is moving, but it's locked. He then grabs the steering wheel, but the car only swerves. The boy, however, slaps the pregnant belly of the woman in front of him. The impact immediately induces labor. Despite the emergency, the man doesn't even think to slow down. A bloody lump of flesh spills out of the woman right onto the carpet, and the whole family stares at it tenderly. Unable to resist, Manti also peers forward, and sees a terrifying mutant with wings lunging at him. The deformed infant begins to fly around the car on leather wings, causing panic. Unable to bear the horror of what is happening, Manti turns to the window, closing his eyes and ears, and begins sucking on a pacifier. The other passengers stare at him, then the baby leaps forward, sending the pacifier flying out of the broken window and into the river they're passing. The story jumps forward 4 months. In April 1962, high school student Phil, fascinated by alien conspiracy theories, watches from the terrace of an empty city building as military aircraft land at a local military base. Korean War veterans arrive on board, pilot Major Leroy Henlon, and his partner Captain Polly. They are met by an aide to General Shaw, the airbase commander, to personally show them the ropes. It turns out this is one of 6 strategic bases, and the northernmost. In the event of war with the Soviet Union, a 7-hour drive away, they would be the first bastion of resistance. Arriving at the hangar, Major Henlon meets his new subordinates. However, one of them refuses to greet him. The reason is that the new commander is black. Only the appearance of General Shaw forces the racist to comply, even if it's through sheer reluctance. Meanwhile, at Derry High, a girl considered a weirdo by others finds jars of pickles in a locker, a secret message from the local pranksters. Her friend Marge consoles the girl, telling her about her grandiose plans for summer vacation, party, carouse, and lose themselves in the haze of revelry. Phil is also wandering the school hallways with his friend Teddy. He's sharing his latest suspicions about alien scientific experiments taking place at the military base. It's not yet clear who's probing whom, but something is definitely going on there. In the last 2 days, Phil has seen 7 cargo planes land near Derry. That evening, the boys do their homework together at Phil's house. However, Teddy's thoughts are preoccupied with Maddie. Today marks exactly 4 months since his disappearance. It turns out Maddie's mother promised them candy if they came to his birthday party, but they never showed. Now Teddy blames himself. If they had come to the party, Maddie wouldn't have run away. Phil disagrees, which leads to an argument, after which Teddy leaves. Meanwhile, Lily, getting ready for her bath, touches her turtle keychain and reminisces. 4 months ago Maddie took her to the terrace of an empty municipal building, which offers a stunning view of the city. After opening a candy bar and toys, the girl finds a rocket, one of which she has piles. Then Maddie gives her his turtle. Lily explains that she's considered a weirdo because of her father's death. He died in an accident at a pickle factory. Local kids spread the legend that his remains can be found in pickle jars. The conversation is interrupted by a New Year's fireworks display. Admiring the bright colors in the dark sky, Matt seizes the moment and reaches out to kiss the girl. However, he pulls away, causing irreparable psychological trauma to her fragile ego. After that, the guy leaves. That was the last time she saw him. Lily is distracted from her memories by her mother. Opening the door, she reminds her that she should go to her father's grave. For the entire year since his death, the girl hasn't been there. It's time to accept it. As the woman leaves, upset, Lily suddenly hears Maddie's voice humming a tune from the drain. Leaning over, she calls out for the boy. In response, 2 fingers emerge from the hole and then disappear. When Lily tells her friend at school about this, she immediately drags her to the toilet. Marsh doesn't want her to spread the story. People are already saying unflattering things about her, and she doesn't want to be the best friend of the local crazy woman. Lily resents her for this, but she can't help it. Phil doesn't believe her, but Teddy considers the possibility that it's a runaway teenager hiding in the sewers, something more credible than aliens on a military base. They disagree, after which Lily leaves. Major Hanlon visits General Shaw. He says he punished his disrespectful subordinate with toilet duty. The commander also explains that Hanlon's transfer is related to testing of the newest B-52 intercontinental bomber. Over dinner, Teddy asks his father if someone could kidnap a child and hold him in the sewers. In response, his father lectures him on how Jews survived German concentration camps, where lampshades were made from their skin. That's where the real horrors are. And what the son imagines is the pernicious influence of comic books on a fragile psyche. While reading comics before bed, the boy notices that the table lamp is flickering and turning off randomly. After turning it on again, he sees a horrific concoction of human skin instead of the usual lampshade. The horrific face continues to scream in terror, matching the room's owner. Suddenly, the hallucinations stop, and their older brother peeks through the door to see what kind of concert they're hosting. Gathering their friends on the terrace at sunset and admiring the city views, Teddy tells them what happened. The children fear that if they tell adults what they've experienced, they'll be sent to boarding schools at best, or at worst to other closed municipal institutions that report not to the Ministry of Education but to the Health Ministry. They decide to figure out for themselves what happened to Maddie. His disappearance was the beginning of this whole mess. To do this, the children go to the library to look through a selection of newspapers. Phil has to take his younger sister Susie with him, as she has no one to look after her. Finding a news article about a missing boy, the friends realize that the missing Maddie was last seen at a movie theater by the projectionist's daughter Veronica. The children go to her to ask about her friend, but she refuses to talk. She was already fed up with the questions from the police, who, in keeping with the old tradition, tried to blame her father. However, as she leaves, she overhears guests discussing a song from the sewer. This catches her attention. According to Veronica, she also heard a song from the musical in the theater's sewer pipes. She also heard laughter and a child's cry, and someone calling her name. Major Hanlon is getting ready for bed in the barracks. The popping glands irritate him, and he gets up to adjust them, not noticing a suspicious figure in a hazmat suit outside the window. But the intruder doesn't keep him waiting long. He approaches the pilot's bed. Leaping up, the major engages in a fight but loses. It turns out that 3 visitors are threatening him with a pistol. They want to know the performance characteristics of the B-52 bomb. Whether thinking it's a test or not having had time to memorize the data, or in a fit of patriotism, Hanlon refuses to sell his homeland cheap. When the field knocks on the door, the major seizes the opportunity and takes the pistol. Together they manage to create a ruckus and drive away the invaders. Meanwhile, Veronica takes her new acquaintances to the movie theater, which is already closed according to schedule. Using her father's keys, the girl leads 4 friends into the auditorium, while she goes to the mechanic's booth to load the film reel and show the very musical from which Lily heard the song. As the magic of cinema comes to life on the screen, the crowd of extras singing along with the lead singer suddenly sees Maddie holding a bundle that resembles a baby in his arms. Surprised by this turn of events, they call out to the boy, who suddenly responds. Stepping into the foreground, he calls his friends by name, then blames them for what happened to him. They betrayed him. Bending over the baby, Maddie seems to be crying, but when he looks up, a suspiciously wide smile spreads across his face. The boy throws a bundle from the screen, breaking through the fourth wall like glass. It flies into the room and transforms into a huge mutant baby with wings. The monster flies around the room as the film on the screen melts. The monster chases the boys, lifting them into the air, where it tears them to pieces, spraying blood on the glass in the mechanic's cabin, and on Lily, who is lying in the aisle. Veronica helps her to her feet, and then they run away from the monster crouched behind the chairs. Having reached the foyer, Veronica locks the door with a hammer like a bolt. Then she asks Lily, covered in blood, what happened. Suddenly, she remembers holding Susie's hand, and still clutching the severed limb. Lily screams in horror, and with that, the first episode ends.